These days, there are so many cool things you can do on a roller Caribbean cruise, but over the years, some of those activities have been given up on by Royal Caribbean. So today, I've got a list of the things that you can no longer do on a Royal Caribbean cruise that you used to be able to do up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Just like any theme park, entertainment plaza, or local attraction, cruise ships are going to try out an idea for an activity, and later on, they might decide to get rid of it. What's new and interesting today could become passé or old hat tomorrow. Cruise lines are always looking for ways to keep up with their offerings in line with customer trends, so it's not uncommon for a cruise ship to offer a certain activity, but then have it replaced later on. Royal Caribbean over the years has tried many different activities for guests on board. Some have become staples of the Royal Caribbean brand, like the rock climbing wall, but others have had a much shorter run and were replaced by something else. So today, I have a list of 9 things you used to be able to do on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship that are now gone. Number 1, golf simulators. Royal Caribbean is known for having a surf simulator and even a skydiving simulator, but they used to also have a golf simulator. A number of cruise ships had a golf simulator, including Voyager and Radiance class cruise ships, where you could practice your golf swing on a variety of virtual golf courses. It cost $25 for up to 4 people, and there would be a selection of a few different clubs, including a driver, 3-wood, 5-wood, and 3 to 9 irons, and a sand wedge. And just like the real thing, one passenger would stand in front of the simulator to take their swings, while others in the group stood off to the side and watched. It's basically a giant screen. You would line up your tee and hit the ball, and you would then watch the ball traverse in the virtual world. Golf simulators are no longer offered on board, with the space taken up during recent sports deck refurbishments. Speaking of sports deck refurbishments, number 2 on our list is the Inline skating rink that was available on the Voyager class cruise ships. Alongside the mini golf course was an inline skating track for guests to use. Royal Caribbean would provide the helmets and skates, and then you would navigate the course. The track had padded barriers in case you very likely slammed into the wall along the way. Like the golf simulator, the inline skating was ditched to make room for the water slides and flow riders in subsequent ship upgrades. Something else you won't find on a Royal Caribbean ship anymore, but used to be all the rage, were nightclubs, like dedicated nightclub venues. Royal Caribbean used to have a dedicated nightclub on many of its cruise ships, including the Voyager and Freedom class ship. Each had its own kind of weird name, like the Crypt or the Labyrinth, and they were a 2-deck level space with an entrance near the schooner bar. During the daytime, the nightclubs were closed, but at night, they became a loud party zone. Royal Caribbean decided the space was not really being utilized well because it was only open at night, so they converted the lower portion to become new cabins, and the upper part became a specialty restaurant. Not to worry, there is still a nightclub experience offered on board, just not in a dedicated nightclub lounge. Next on my list is pets at sea. Remember when Build-A-Bear was a really big deal? As a parent, I remember my kids always wanting to go get a new pet every time we went to the mall, and I guess that trend made it to Royal Caribbean as well. Royal Caribbean's first Oasis-class ships had a dedicated shop in the Boardwalk neighborhood where you could create your own stuffed animals, many with a nautical theme. Pets at Sea was a souvenir option where guests picked out an animal and an outfit and then stuffed the pet with a fun machine before taking it home with them. Alas, the shops were replaced during the ship refurbishments to make way for other retail experiences. I think part of that is also not only the need for space, but also because the trend kind of went away. Also, you've got boxing rings on some ships. Yeah, a neat idea to enhance the fitness center offerings on Royal Caribbean ships was to include a boxing ring on the Freedom class ships. For an additional fee, the full-size boxing ring allowed guests to spar with an experienced instructor. Whether it was popular enough to warrant keeping it, or perhaps another reason, we'll never know, but the boxing ring was removed, leaving a fairly large dance studio space instead of the ring. Speaking of Voyager class ships, seems by the way like Royal Caribbean put a lot in the Voyager and Freedom class for some reason. But anyway, on at least Explorer of the Seas, there used to be something called the Eco Learning Station. This is something that I wasn't aware of and did more research into it. But basically, the ship's Eco Learning Stations were located on either side of the aquarium bar on Deck 4. The stations produce a large data set of complementary, comprehensive, atmospheric, and oceanographic measurements along the cruise ship's itinerary, and provided over 80,000 cruise ship passengers with guided tours of the research labs on board. Data collected by the Ocean Lab program was placed in the public domain and made available to researchers, students, and the public through an online portal. Royal Caribbean then downsized the scope of the station, allowing it to acquire atmospheric and oceanographic data, but the outreach program aboard with a full-time marine technician and different visiting scientist, researcher, or lecturer on each cruise was removed. Eventually, though, the idea was completely removed and replaced with a tavern in a 2015 refurbishment. Something Royal Caribbean used to have on board that I'm glad they don't anymore for the sake of my children is the Barbie Premium Experience. In 2013, Royal Caribbean introduced a new program aimed at girls with a partnership with Mattel. The Barbie Premium Experience was available for girls aged between 4 and 11 and included a pink Barbie-themed stateroom and signature gifts, including a Barbie doll to take home. In addition, there was tiaras and teacups party, mermaid dance class, fashion designer workshop, and a Barbie fashion show. The premium experience cost $349, was only available on cruises over 5 nights long. At some point, Royal Caribbean removed the offering from its ships. I'm not sure when and where, and maybe there's just the lack of the partnership with Barbie and Mattel, but it used to be a thing not too long ago, actually. And then, of course, there's all the things you could have done in the 1970s you can't do anymore. We've actually done a video about this, and I really recommend checking out the video. We have a link for it below this video in the description below. But there were a lot of things that you could do on cruise ships before the 1990s that today just seem really bizarre. You know, Song of Norway had its own radio station where you could send radiograms or make ship-to-ship telephone calls. Passenger talent night, casino night where the crew would allow guests to run the games, and lest I forget, skeet shooting off the back of the ship where you could shoot clay pigeons with a shotgun that they would give you. Yeah, all those things from the 70s. There's a lot of them. And there's one more thing that, honestly, I always forgot about was a thing, but people always remind me, and I think about it fondly, and that is horse racing on the pool deck. Basically, and I never did this, but basically horse racing was this idea where you would race imaginary horses. Go with me on this one. There was a mat laid out for 6 horses, and your horse moved along the mat to the finish line by the roll of the dice in a cage. You could pre-wager which horse would win. At the end of the horses were auctioned off to the highest bidder. 6 horses were auctioned off, and depending on the bet you had there, whoever won it, you could dress your horse up, take him to dinner in the main dining room, collect stuff from fellow passengers to attach your horse, and on the last sea day, the 6 horses had their final race. Everyone at the pool could wager as much as like $2 per bet as they wanted to wager on the winner, no place or show bets. And after the race was won, the winning horse got that money that was collected at the auction for all 6 horses. Other bettors collected winnings from the monies collected in the normal betting from the rake from Royal Caribbean, and it was a very unique idea. And as far as I know, other cruise lines did this as well, but it all kind of disappeared at some point, somewhere between the 1990s and 2000s, because I never recalled ever even hearing about this or seeing it, certainly, but a lot of people remember it fondly. So there you go, horse racing on the pool deck, if you want to call it that. Let me know in the comments below, which of these do you remember? Which of these would you love to see come back eventually? Everything comes back again, right? Including fashion and cruise ship activities. You never know. Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on your notifications. That way, YouTube lets you know we have a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. We'll talk again real soon.